Hello everyone, I'm the Sir Dansen, and in this video, we will be having a continuation of one of my sessions in the pre-calculus class I'm teaching. In that session, in that previous session, I've already discussed how to apply Cramer's rule to solve a system of linear equations in two variables. But first, a quick review. So if you have a 2 by 2 determinant A, B, C, D, for you to evaluate this determinant, you will have this formula: AB minus BC. And you obtain this value by means of cross multiplications, so to speak. You have A times B and then minus B times C. So that's why AB minus BC. And take note of the signs. The first term is positive, the second term is negative. So there was an alternation of signs. The reason I've mentioned this alternation of signs is because it will be useful later when you apply it in the systems of equations for three variables. So now, let's notch things up a bit by using 3 by 3 determinants. So suppose you have this determinant, this 3 by 3 determinant, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. So how do you go about evaluating these 3 by 3 determinant? So you're going to consider first that first number, that upper left number, that number in the first row and in the first column, which is A. And then you're going to momentarily disregard the other numbers in that first row and in that first column. So you are left with the four numbers at the lower right corner of A, which are E, F, H, and I. And as you will notice, they are already arranged in a 2 by 2 determinant, a smaller 2 by 2 determinant. So these five numbers will comprise our first term in our evaluation of the 3 by 3 determinant. So it goes like this. You have the A outside, and then that E, F, H, and I we have left out. They will comprise the small 2 by 2 determinant. So you have A times that 2 by 2 determinant of E, F, and H, I. So that's the first term. And remember, as I mentioned earlier, as we have applied it in the first term, in the 2 by 2 determinant, the first term is positive. Now, the next term will be comprised of the B, which is the second number in the first row. So you started with A, and then you went to B. And then you're going to momentarily disregard the other numbers in that first row and in that second column. And that product will be negative. Remember, alternation of signs. The first term is positive, the second term is negative. So, your next term would be like this. You will notice the B is outside and it's negative. And then the 2 by 2 determinant is now comprised of the D, the F, the G, and the I. Now, for the third term. The third term is also positive like the first, but this time you're going to use letter C, which is the third number in the first row. And just the same, in similar fashion, you're going to momentarily disregard the other numbers in that first row and in that third column. So leaving you with a 2 by 2 determinant here, D, E, G, H. That comprises your third term in your evaluation. There you go. So you will see there are three terms, and each term has its own 2 by 2 determinant and its own coefficient outside. So How are you going to evaluate this again? So you will see that there are two, and since there are 2 by 2 determinants here, you will just apply the cross product, cross multiplications we have used from that review, from that earlier part. So you see, E times I times minus F times H, that will be your evaluation for the first 2 by 2 determinant. And remember, there is an A outside, so don't forget that. And that product, that entire product, that first term is positive. Now, for the second term, for the second 2 by 2 determinant, you have B times I and then F times G. That's why I have BI minus FG there within parentheses. And remember to copy the negative B outside. In similar fashion, you can have D times H and E times G for your third 2 by 2 determinant. So that's DH minus EG. And then you multiply by the C outside the parentheses. There you have it. Now, the question is, how do you apply this 3 by 3 determinant in solving systems of linear equations in 3 variables? Now, suppose you have this system of linear equations, a1x plus b1y plus c1z is equal to d1, a2x plus b2y plus c2z is equal to b2, and a3x plus b3y plus c3z is equal to d3. This is a system in which the variables being talked about are x, y, and z. And the other variables, the a's, the b's, the c's, and the d's, are your coefficients and your constants, respectively. Now, once you have this system of equations in 3 variables, the first 2 things you're going to take are the coefficient matrix and the constant matrix. So, starting with the coefficient matrix, you will use the a's, the coefficients of x, a1, a2, and a3. That will be your first column of your matrix. b1, b2, and b3, which are the coefficients of y, will be the second column of your matrix. And c1, c2, c3, the coefficients of z, will be the third column of your matrix. So your coefficient matrix would look like this. As for the constant matrix, well, as the term implies, it's comprised of the constants. So we'll be using the d's there, d1, d2, and d3. And that will be your constant matrix. So there are 2 matrices. These 2 matrices, you will use them to set up your determinants. So magpapauna ko na guys, there are four determinants you're going to take for you to solve the system of equations in 3 variables. The first determinant you're going to take is D. Kagaya sa 2 by 2, kagaya sa systems of equations in 2 variables, yung D ang magiging divisor natin later when we are already in the final steps of the solution. So D, yan muna. For D, you're just going to use the coefficient matrix itself. No alterations whatsoever. Yan, yung matrix na yan, you'll just turn it into a determinant. There you go. Yan lang. So, coefficients ng x, coefficients ng y, and coefficients ng z, they will comprise your D, your divisor determinant later. Okay. So, next. Of course, kung paano sa 2 by 2 systems, di ba? Sa 2 systems of equations in 2 variables, kumuha tayo ng dx, di ba? Kumuha tayo ng dy. Ganun din dito. Pero this time, instead of tatlo pa yung kukunin natin. May dx tayo, may dy, at may dz. So, starting with dx, you're still going to use the coefficient matrix. A1, still the coefficient matrix. However, you're going to replace your a's, your coefficients of x, you're going to replace it with the constant matrix. I repeat that. You're going to replace the first column with your constant matrix. Yung coefficients ng x, papalitan mo ng constant matrix. Kaya ganito itsura niya. Yung mga D1 ang nandyan na. Yung mga D1 are already, the D's already replaced the A's. That's for dx. Now, for dy, it is the second column you're going to replace. So instead of B's, you're going to replace it with the D's. And so for dy, so the A column is still there, the C column is still there, but the D is now replaced with the D. That's for dy. Now for dz, it will look like this. You're going to replace the third column this time. You're going to place the C's with the D's again. So you will see how you will notice how the constant matrix replaces every column for the other determinants. So for dz, the A column is still there, the B column is still there, but the C column has now been replaced with the D column. That's for dz. So in summary, the four determinants you're going to take are the following. The D, as you can see, is the coefficient matrix unaltered. The dx, in the dx, the A column has been replaced with the D column. For the dy, the B column has been replaced with the constant matrix. And for dz, it is the third column that has been replaced with the constant matrix. Now, once you're able to get these three determinants, the solutions will come to you easily by division. So the D, the dx, the dy, and the dz, yan lang yung gagamitin nyo pag nag-divide kayo later. So using these four values, using the values of those determinants, you obtain the solution as follows. For x, you use dx divided by d. For y, you have dy over d. And for z, you have dz over d. As an example, you're going to solve the system. 3x minus 2y plus z is equal to 9. X plus 2y minus 2z is equal to negative 5. And x plus y minus 4z is equal to negative 2. So, as we have discussed from earlier, we're going to get the coefficient matrix and the constant matrix. The coefficient matrix is as follows. The coefficients of x are 3, 1, and 1 respectively. The y coefficients are negative 2, positive 2, and 1. And for the z coefficients, that's 1, negative 2, and negative 4. These 9 numbers, they comprise our coefficient matrix. As for the constant matrix, of course, you have the numbers there in the other sides of in the right sides of the equations. So that's 9, negative 5, and negative 2. You're going to use these two matrices, the coefficient matrix and the constant matrix, to get your determinants. Let's begin with D. As we have, as mentioned from earlier, the D is simply the coefficient matrix in its plain form. Wala tayong ginawang pagbabago whatsoever. Kung ano yung coefficient matrix, pag ginawa nating determinant yon, that will be your D. So it goes like this. Yan. Mag-set up na muna tayo ha. Mamaya na yung evaluations. So for the D, it's like this. For dx, remember, you're going to replace the first column with the constant matrix. So your dx in this example will look like this. Yan, 9, negative 5, negative 2, negative 2, 2, 1, 1, negative 2, negative 4. For dy, it's the second column you're going to replace with the constant matrix. And so your dy would look like this. So the 3, 1, 1 are still there. It's the second column that is now replaced with 9, negative 5, negative 2. The third column remains at 1, negative 2, negative 4. And for dz, it's the third column you're going to replace with the constant matrix. So your dz would look like this. 3, 1, 1, negative 2, 2, 1. And the third column now is 9, negative 5, negative 2. In summary, your determinants are as follows. There you go. So later, pag na-evaluate na natin itong mga determinant na ito, simple divisions will give you your values, your solutions. Now, let's begin with the D. So, paano natin sineset up ito, remember? So, kung maalala natin, guys, using A, yung first number, the first row, and then the 2 by 2 determinant there. 2, negative 2, 1, negative 4. Now, the second term. Take note, second term kaya negative. Pero, yung second number mo kasi sa first column ay negative din. Kaya don't forget, minus negative 2. Sir, kailangan ba ng parenthesis? Oo. Mahalaga yung parenthesis dyan para hindi tayo malito. No? So remember, the second term is negative, but then and again, the value of your second number in that first row is negative. Kaya kailangan may minus na tapos may negative ka pa. Okay? Now, of course, yung determinant niya, as you can see here, will be the left out numbers in the first column and in the third column. Kasi nga, yung second column ay momentarily dinisregard muna natin. Now, for the third term, you use the third number in the first column, which is 1. And yung na left out, which are the numbers in the first column and the second column, yung 1, 2, 1, 1. Now, by cross multiplications, it will look like this. Of course, copy pa rin yung negative 3 outside. You still copy the negative 3 outside. Now, for evaluating that first 2 by 2 determinant, you have 2 times negative 4 minus negative 2 times 1. So that's your first 2 by 2. In the second term, notice that there is a minus negative 2. And remember guys, pag minus negative, ang shortcut na lang doon is plus. Bakit ganon? Remember guys, when you do subtraction of integers, what you do is, you change the sign of the subtrahend and you proceed to addition. So, sa pagkakataong ito, minus negative 2. So, yung negative 2, you will change its sign. It becomes positive 2. Then you proceed to addition. So, naging plus positive. Eh, mas madali na lang sabihin na plus na lang kaysa plus positive. They mean the same thing. Kaya minus negative, plus na lang yon. So, minus negative 2 becomes plus 2 outside the brackets. Now, negative 1, that's 1 times negative 4 minus negative 2 times 1. That will be your second 2 by 2 determinant. And for the third term, guys, the 1 remains there, kaya kopya lang. But the 2 by 2 determinant will be evaluated like this. 1 times 1 minus 2 times 1. Now, pag nag-simplify na tayo, it will go like this. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. And then, negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Pero remember, may negative ka pa. Negative of negative. Sabi nga natin ay positive na. Kaya negative 8 plus 2. Now, sa second bracket, 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. And then, Negative 2 times 1 is 2. And remember, negative 2. And remember, may negative ulit. Negative, negative, kaya plus 2 na lang yan. Now, in the third bracket, it goes like this. 1 times 1 is 1. Tapos 2 times 1 is 2. 1 minus 2. Yun. Wala tayong masyadong problema sa signs doon. And remember to copy the coefficients outside those brackets. Kaya yung 3 sa una, nandyan pa rin. Yung plus 2 sa pangalawa, nandyan pa rin. At yung plus 1 sa pangatlo, nandyan pa rin. Don't forget to copy. Now, of course, you simplify further. Negative 8 plus 2 is negative 6. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. And then 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Of course, you do the products now. PEMDAS, remember. Multiplications and divisions first, followed by the additions and subtractions. 3 times negative 6, that's negative 18. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. And then 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. So you have negative 18, you have negative 4, and you have negative 1. All of them have the same signs. So you add them up and copy the common sign, giving you negative 23. This will be the value for our B. At ito yung magiging divisor natin mamaya kapag tayo ay ito yung magiging divisor natin pag nag-divide na tayo later. Now, proceeding with dx. Similar fashion, ano? First term, negative, so nandyan yung 9. Sa second term, nandyan yung minus negative 2. Again, second column, no? Second term, negative. Kaso negative din yung second number mo sa first row. Kaya minus negative, don't forget. And then, plus 1 sa pangatlo. And then the determinants, you can see there, yan na nga. As you can see. Now, in similar fashion, guys, no? Yung determinants, you can evaluate them as follows. 2 times negative 4, tsaka negative 2 times 1. And don't forget the minus sign between them. Remember, yung minus negative 2, naging plus 2. Negative 5 times negative 4 is there. And then negative 2 times negative 2 is also there. And they're separated by a minus sign. And for the last 2 by 2 determinant, you have negative 5 times 1, tsaka 2 times negative 2. Still separated by a minus sign. Simplification gives us this. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, but with a negative outside, so that's plus 2. Negative 5 times negative 4 is 20. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, but there's a negative outside, so that's minus 4. Now, negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. And then 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. And since there's a negative outside, negative of negative 4 is plus 4. And further simplification gives us this. Negative 6 inside, 16 inside, and negative 1 inside. And don't forget multiplications followed by additions, MDAS. 9 times negative 6, ayan. 2 times 16, there you have it. And 1 times negative 1, there you go. Mas malalaki yung negatives, kaya yung final answer natin ay negative. Negative 23. This will be the value for your dx. Na kapag dinivide natin mamaya sa d, makukuha natin yung value ng x. Okay. Going for dy. Similar fashion goes like this. The first term, you start with 3. The second term, you start with 9. You will notice kung paanong ngayon dito, hindi na kailangan ng parentheses. Bakit? Kasi yung second number mo sa first row ay positive naman. So, kahit maglagay ka ng minus, hindi ka magkakaproblema. Kasi hindi ka magkakaproblema ng minus negative. kundi minus positive lang yan, na minus din naman ang ibig sabihin. Now, for the third term, ayun, you start with 1. So, the determinants, as you can set them up, they should look like that, like those. Now, onto the evaluation, cross products, negative 5 times negative 4, and then negative 2 times negative 2. Here you have it. For the second determinant, you have 1 times negative 4, and then you have negative 2 times 1, still separated by minus sign. And then 1 times negative 2, and then negative 5 times 1. You separate with minus sign. Okay? Further simplification gives us negative 5 times negative 4 is 20. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. Pero may minus, kaya minus 4. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4, correct? Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Pero may minus sign pa sa unahan, so plus 2. Negative 2. Negative of negative is positive. Now, 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. And then, negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. But since there's a minus sign outside, that's plus 5 already. To simplify further, it gives like this. 3 times 16 minus 9 times negative 2 plus 1 times 3. 3 times 16, 48. Negative 9 times negative 2 is plus 18. And then 1 times 3 is 3. Adding them up gives you this. This is your value for dy na kapag dinivide mo mamaya by d, pag dinivide mo mamaya by the d, you get the value of y. Lastly, dz. You set up the determinants, you set up the evaluation like this. Nandyan pa rin yung minus negative 2 sa second term. Bakit may parenthesis uli? Remember, may minus sign yung second term, pero dahil yung second number mo sa first row ay negative, kaya kinailangan ng parenthesis. Minus negative. Na mamaya, kagaya na napansin na ninyo, nagiging plus na lang. So, by evaluation, by further simplification, you have this. Yan. 2 times negative 2, negative 5 times 1, tapos 1 times negative 2, negative 5 times 1, 1 times 1, 2 times 1. Every two terms separated by minus signs. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Negative of negative 5 times 1 is plus 5. 1 times negative 2, ayan. Negative of negative, tapos times 1 pa, kaya positive 5 yan. Tapos, 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 minus 2. And don't forget, copy pa rin yung mga nasa labas ng brackets. 3, 2, 9. Simplifying further would give you this. Negative 4 plus 5 is 1. Bakit positive? Mas malaki yung positive, tapos nag-subtract ka. You copy the sign of the bigger number. So, plus 1 yan. Negative 2 plus 5 is 3. Ganon din yung explanation. Ngayon, mas malaki yung negative 2 sa third term. Kaya yung nasa bracket ngayon ay negative 1. 1 minus 2. 2 minus 1 is 1, pero mas malaki sa negative. Kaya negative 1. Further simplification gives you this. 3 plus 6. And then minus 9. Bakit minus? Positive times negative. Kapag simplify mo to, it gives you this. This is your value for dz, which if you divide by x in a bit, will give you the value of z. So, the solutions will be as follows. Now that you have all 4 determinants evaluated, you're going to use them in your divisions to find the solutions. So the solutions are as follows. Remember, you have your dx and your d, and their quotient, you divide. So you find their quotient. Negative 23 divided by negative 23. That's equal to 1. So therefore, x equals 1. For y, you have obtained 69 for your dy. You have negative 23 as your d. 69 divided by negative 23 is negative 3. And for z, dz divided by d. 0 over negative 23. That's equal to 0. Eh sir, akala ko ba division by 0 is undefined? Okay, remember, magiging undefined ito guys if your denominator, yung number nyo sa baba is 0. Pero kung yung numerator nyo ang 0 at hindi naman 0 yung denominator mo, definitely ang product mo ay 0. Yun yung sinasabing ano to. It is in that sense na yung division by 0 is undefined. Hindi natin sinasabing bawal mag-0 kapag division. Ang sinasabi natin, kapag ang divisor mo ay 0, yun ang bawal. Yun lang magiging undefined. Pero kung ang dividend mo naman ay 0, pwede yun. 0 divided by 1, 0. 0 divided by 5, 0. 0 divided by negative 11, 0. Pero, halimbawa, negative 6 divided by 0, yun ang undefined. So, to summarize, the solution is 1, negative 3, 0. Remember, when we write solutions to a system of equations in 3 variables, you write it as an ordered triple. Kung paano sa 2 variables, meron kang ordered pair, x, y. Sa 3 variables, meron kang ordered triple. Triple, kasi tatlong numbers eh. The x value, followed by the y value, and followed by the z value. Kaya 1, negative 3, 0. Now, I will be leaving it to you as an exercise to check if these 3 numbers satisfy all 3 equations in your original system. Kapag nag-check, kapag nasatisfy lahat ng equations, then this indeed is your solution to the system. Okay? Now, for any questions, don't forget to message me. Sa mga students ko, you can message me on Canvas. Sa mga now, for formally ending this session, I would like to give you the following quiz. Ito yung magiging pinaka-exercise na ninyo. Okay, so you're going to use Cramer's rule to solve the following systems of equations. Let me transfer that a bit. Yeah. You're going to use Cramer's rule to solve the following systems of equations. So the first system is x minus y equals 7, or x plus 3y equals negative 21. And for the second system, it's a system in 3 variables. 2x plus 3y plus z is equal to 14. Negative x minus 6y plus 2z is negative 22. 4x plus y minus 5z is negative 18. So guys, you're going to use Cramer's rule. Although yes, you can use elimination, you can use substitution to solve this system, I am particularly requiring you to use Cramer's rule. Kasi nga, Cramer's rule yung pinag-aralan natin. Siyempre, kailangan ko makita kung paano nyo gamitin yung Cramer's rule to solve the systems. So that's the reason I am requiring you to use Cramer's rule. Okay? So, magkita ko ulit tayo sa next session natin, and have a safe, always stay safe guys. Take care. Goodbye.